Welcome back. BX for Life, Black Lives Matter Forever is a film highlighting the Bronx during COVID-19, an homage to all Bronxites from essential workers to protesters and changemakers in our borough. The film was shot, edited, and narrated by a local filmmaker who seeks to be more involved in his surroundings. Joining us now to discuss is Bronx filmmaker Dwayne Anthony. Dwayne, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I definitely appreciate it. It's a pleasure and it's an honor.
Of course. Likewise. I really enjoyed your film and I want our viewers to learn more about it. But first, before we delve into the film, just tell us a little bit about yourself and your upbringing here in the Bronx. Where did you grow up? All that good stuff. And how long have you been a filmmaker?
Yeah, definitely. So Bronx has been home for me pretty much all my life, despite living in Jamaica a little bit. But I'm born and raised in the Bronx. I grew up in North Bronx and South Bronx. So I was born at North Central Hospital around Jerome Avenue. I don't know if you know around there, by Tracy Towers. So yeah, I learned how to ride a bike around there. And then with my family, I lived with my grandmother and cousins around 161st Yankee Stadium. So I've been around the South Bronx, and then uptown, I went to school at PS21, 225th, White Plains Road. I went to church on 220th on Bronxwood, where I met my best friend and now my wife, which is one of my, greatest blessings. So I think, yeah, the Bronx, I've been around the block. I spent like my adolescent years in South Bronx. I went to school on 174th Southern Boulevard. And I lived also behind Edenwald Project. So that's about me. In terms of growing up in the neighborhood, I've been writing stories and comedy skits for about 5 years now, and just conceptualizing them through videography for about 3 years. So my wife and I, we started DXA Studios back in 2013. And so we used to take wedding photos and videos for our friends and family. And now it kind of turned into like our media baby. So we launched our YouTube channel, The Morgans, back in 2017, which was like a year after we got married. And it was really to just promote young people, elderly people, but just really to promote young people, people of color, and people who are married, just on a journey to let them know that, you can do this while you're young, and it's just a journey. It's going to be up and down, and it can be done though. So yeah.
Shout out to the wife. Shout out to the Morgans. That's you. And I'm your neighbor. I grew up in the South Bronx as well, so I know exactly what you're talking about when you talk about Jerome, Southern Boulevard, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So now about your film, BX for Life, Black Lives Matter Forever. Please tell us more about it. Also, what is your role as a filmmaker during these tough times in our borough?
So I think during these times, it is more important to show what is positively being done to incite change in our community, rather than like focusing on the bad or the damage that has been done. As a Black creative, I think for me, it's important that people are seeing it through our lens and through our perspective. Sometimes the news outlets, they're not going to show a narrative that will be reflecting on how we feel it and how we see it and what we go through. So I think it's important to show it in the daily battles that we fight, especially in our community where we're fighting a pandemic where it's much higher risk for us in our communities, and as well as the racial war that we're facing right now. It's like we're fighting two battles. And so I feel like anyone who's a creator during these times, they want to reflect the words of Nina Simone, which is, I wanted to do that with a short film, yeah, so I think it's important to definitely share that.
Right. Thank you for sharing that. And I definitely agree that, they have to hear our voices, and our voices have to be represented, because the mainstream media is not doing it justice, and
Yeah.
they're on the front lines like we are. So, I commend you for the film. And for those who haven't seen it, can you just give us a little bit of background on the film?
So as far as the film, I think it was important for me to reflect how I did it, because as you can see in the film, it was showing like perspectives of me being a child again, showing, being in the car with my parents and just showing how they go by their day to day. And I really wanted to depict that because, for example, Van Cortlandt Park, my mom going there to help with mental health, help with just overcoming anxiety, depression by exercising. I remember being a child, she actually used to bring me to that park. I used to go to that park to go to track practice. I used to run track. So it was good to see that, and it was warming. It was like a warming feeling to see her going there, you know. And then my dad, he doesn't work too far from there. And just to see him being able to still, despite as an essential worker, have to push through every day. He had to take multiple tests when the test became available. He was taking the test 2 or 3 times a week just to ensure, because he worked at a nursing home, that he was okay and he was good for his family. So I wanted to show those two avenues, because that's what many of our people in our community are going through right now. A lot of people, mental health is very serious and important. And I wanted to show that, you know, we still need to take care of ourselves, as well as, you know, take care of our family. And so I wanted to show that childhood family dynamic. Yeah.
Really saw that, and I saw a lot of things that I can also relate to as a Bronxite and as a person of color growing up in the Bronx. Just seeing your parents go to work and following them through all the motions of that. Well, your father, who's an essential worker, and then you said your mom was laid off or something. She wasn't working for a
She
while.
wasn't working for about 4 months. Yeah, because she worked in childcare. So, you know, with her boss being home, you know, and with the COVID-19 going on, it was better for her to just be home than for her boss to be home with the kids. So, yeah.
And then, you know, struggling with mental health and taking you along on that journey where she's working out at Van Cortlandt, using one of our most beautiful parks in the Bronx in order to kind of like explore that
Yeah.
mental well-being. So I really appreciated seeing both aspects and seeing both sides, how difficult it is to see your father go to a nursing home to work, and then also seeing your mom go through the motions of like battling with anxiety and depression.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen.
Yeah. It was really a beautiful glimpse into like your reality, and it was very vulnerable, and I appreciate that. I wanted to also ask you, you know, then we lead into the community protesting and rallying for Black Lives Matter through the Bronx. Tell us why highlighting these events through this pandemic is important at this time, and how the movement has moved you as a filmmaker.
So for me, as a young Black man growing up in the Bronx, I've never faced the racial hostility that I faced when my wife and I, you know, moved to Florida. It's crazy enough. Like, even though you grew up in the Bronx, there's certain things that I just never really, is either I was either sheltered from it, I just didn't realize it, because in the Bronx, there's just certain things, the dynamic is different.
Right.
You know, there's certain racial, you know, slurs or racial, you know, feelings that you just don't necessarily feel until you get out of your comfort zone, or you go to a different environment where it's still heavy. It's still very heavy. And so while living there, I actually became involved with like the Black Lives Matter movement in Florida, after the death of, it was Eric Garner. And now the death of George Floyd, which, you know, incited so much activism throughout the world. It was important for me to display the rallies and protests that took place here in the Bronx, you know, because of our community, and just seeing the being united, I think was important, for me to display that. I really felt moved to do that. Being with family members, I was with friends, and just being impacted and how we were impacted. I wanted to display how we're trying to overcome and how we're trying to press towards a better mark.
Right. Thank you for sharing that. And you use a quote to open the film, which was being a product of your environment. And just tell us a little bit about that quote and how your upbringing and the Bronx has influenced you.
So for me, my wife and I, we talk about this all the time. You hear the saying, don't be a product of your environment, right? And oftentimes when your environment is not a positive one, but what about when your environment is exactly what propels you to be the best version of yourself? You know, considered, you know, things may not always be great in your environment, but we're products of the Bronx. We grew up here, we went to school here. The Bronx has inspired us to be better and to work smarter. So that I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the ups and downs. I'm grateful for all of it, because despite the misconceptions of how people may see the Bronx and sometimes the harsh realities of the Bronx, you know, it's what you do that will determine a better outcome for your environment. So
That is a fact, like we say here in the Bronx.
That's facts. Nah, that's straight facts.
That's facts. So what do you hope that people can take away from the film?
I think for me, it is to really grasp the culture of the people of the Bronx, the resilient spirit, the determination, and the unity that we can have. I want to inspire people to really get involved.
And you are absolutely doing that. So thank you for the film that you've created. And I know the viewers are like, all right, y'all talking about the film so much. Let's watch the damn film already. We're premiering it right here at BronxNet. Thank you for allowing us to premiere it here. Where can people follow your work and see the film again in case they want to watch it again?
Yeah, definitely. So you can follow me at Dwayne Anthony. So it's underscore Dwayne Anthony. That's underscore DWAYNEANTHONY. Also, Dwayne Anthony on Facebook, and the film is going to be on YouTube as well under The Morgans. So that is The Morgan, just THEMORGANS. You'll be able to see the film there. It's also going to be linked under my Instagram as well. There's going to be a link with the YouTube video as well. So you can just click on that link, and don't forget to subscribe. You can check it out. Let me know what you guys think. And that's where you can find the film.
Thank you so much for your time today, Dwayne.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. This was a blessing.
Of course. It was a blessing having you as well. Folks, without further ado, we now present you with BX for Life, Black Lives Matter Forever by Bronx filmmaker Dwayne Anthony.
There's a saying, don't be a product of your environment. But yo, the truth is, I'm the epitome of that. My family, my wife, my friends, my boys, my brothers, my sisters, they're all products of their environment. Obviously, that can be good or bad. I feel like the saying should be, don't be influenced by the wrong product of your environment. Like, that makes a difference. I'm the product of blackness. Two hardworking parents who were immigrants, came from Jamaica. My pops, who is an essential worker, has to be tested for the coronavirus twice a week. Mom's haven't worked in months. Paranoid. I told her, Mom, you gotta get out. You gotta go for a walk. Stop watching the news so much. Get some fresh air.
Traveled the last 14 days?
No.
Feeling sick, fever, cold, flu?
No.
Been in contact with somebody who's tested positive for COVID-19?
No.
Thankfully, I was blessed to be raised with the right things instilled in me. But honestly, not everybody has that, you know. So many people in our community come from broken homes. Mom's is not there, or Pops is not there. So many different avenues. But I feel like the difference in how people can become better is the influence. My people are one of the hardest working people on the planet. So many people I know got 9-to-5s, and they leave their 9-to-5, their corporate job, and they're back on their grind with their 5-to-9, their side hustle, their businesses, working, grinding. Thank you. I think the biggest thing for me, and still being a part of the Bronx community, is how can I be more involved? I need to step up. I'm speaking on behalf of myself and other black men in the community around my age. Yo, we gotta step up. We have to move as a unit and not on no gang. Nah. We gotta protect our community. We gotta protect our children. We gotta protect our women, our black women, from this society that's fighting against us.
And we just wanted to stop the violence in our community. We wanted to give the youth another platform. So when that happened, we had young brothers who were incarcerated that came back out that wanted to help us during this fight.
You know, finding more men to be counselors and can give that guidance and counseling.
I want you to understand, my brothers and sisters, that we are not that far removed from being enslaved. Understand that. So when they say get over it, I say you get under it.
People are worried and stressed over the new norm, and honestly, the Bronx, we know how to make do with what we have through music, food. That's two things our community definitely loves, through the arts and through science. I'm already seeing parking lot parties, people chilling, so that ain't the real issue at hand. We have to figure out a way how to really, truly be unified That's the only way we're gonna see some type of change. Because yo, the police brutality and all that, yo, that's still gonna happen. Whether we like it or not. That's the hard truth. Sometimes people bad mind, and this is not the time for people to be bad mind. I'm grateful for where I grew up. It made me who I am today. It taught me some valuable lessons in life, along with my family. Not to take no for an answer. Always watch your back. More importantly, be your brother's keeper.
Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Juneteenth. Yeah. I said happy Juneteenth. Yeah. So I came here to add a little Latino flavor. Yeah. Because I'm sick and tired of Latinos fronting like we're not black. Yeah. Yeah.